Here's three mistakes I made when I set up as an independent marketing consultant. The first thing I did was I set my rates too low. So I, had come out of agency work. I hadn't worked as an independent in many years, and I based my rates on what I knew about the market as an agency leader. So it turns out I pitched it too low. I didn't really understand the Sherry Lynn effect, I guess. People were willing to pay a lot more money to work with me than the sum total of my skills or my job title. So it took me a while to get those rates up, having started out too low. So that was a big mistake. The second thing I did was I took on too much work. I hung out my shingle in October. It was the day after Thanksgiving. I made an announcement on LinkedIn that I was setting up as an independent, and the phone started ringing that day. And I was very lucky. I understand I was very, very privileged for that to happen. So I took on a lot of work, and oh my God, I worked my guts out. And as I mentioned, at lower rates than I really could have gotten for my work. And I kept that up for like 5 years of working my guts out. So I'm a lot more select now about the projects that I take on. And I do a lot more consulting and a lot less services. So so that was the second thing, taking on too much work for one person to carry out. And then the third thing I did is I did not outsource my bookkeeping. I am not a bookkeeper. And I always hated doing it. I was always like the last thing on my to-do list. And, it's important to keep, for cash flow reasons, to get the invoicing done and the expenses paid and everything. And oh, man, I just don't enjoy doing that. It was always the last thing to get done. And then it wasn't really done all that well. And so I was very shortly after I started working with someone who was going to handle all my bookkeeping, and that made my life so much happier and so much better. Anyways, I hope that you find some wisdom in these words. I'd be interested in learning what mistakes you've made as you start out your career as an independent consultant. I'm Sherry Lynn Starkey, and thanks for listening to my 3 tips.